The results of the National Senior Certificate exams are out. The class of 2023 achieved a record high pass rate of 82.9% since the dawn of democracy. But for the unlucky few who didn't make it, how do they get over the shock and the stigma associated with failing matric? We are joined by clinical psychologist Sonto Masilela to unpack this for us. Sonto, a pleasure to have you on the program this afternoon. Firstly, how can individuals manage the psychological impact of failing matric exams and also navigate the subsequent disappointment?
Hi, Nsanta. Thank you for having me. I think it's very unfortunate that society puts so much pressure on matric to start off. Because, in life we do experience different challenges, right? And with failing, there's shame attached to it. It's like a disgrace. And unfortunately, people are then not necessarily supported by society, and they tend to want to hide from it. Some people would perhaps want to move to a different location. If they want to upgrade their matric results, they would want to do it, or maybe upgrade at a different city. So that first, I think we should, as society, change how we treat people that have failed matric, like it's a sin. And with the individuals that have actually encountered failure within this regard, for them it's to have somebody they can trust, where they can express their feelings, because then some of them can tend to social withdrawal, and that can lead to negative, unwanted thoughts, which in return can have a negative impact on their behavior. Hence, I say it's important that they should speak with somebody that they trust. It's also important to reflect on what has happened. Where did things go wrong? Sometimes it's the pressure, because at times matriculants do experience anxiety during exams, and some of them we have heard people say, no, I went blank, that's when their thought processes, their executive functioning has also been blocked, and they couldn't think during exams. So just to also rectify where they have gone wrong. But honestly speaking, with everything in life, whether it's a child crawling, learning how to walk, they're still crawling, we always clap for them and say they should stand up again. If you failed your driving license, we always say go try again. So in this instance as well, people that have experienced failure in this regard, they should go try again. Because for you to get to grade 12, you went through 11 grades. So definitely you have an ability to pass. They just need to try again.
Let's expand on that point, and also in your professional opinion, what are effective coping strategies for individuals who may carry the weight of matriculation failure into their later years as well?
Okay, so assuming that they failed matric and they have progressed in life, they have obviously then engaged in other life activities, right? So people should just go back, look at what they have achieved, and how they achieved that. That also shows the capability of actually achieving something in life. And I know at times with people that have experienced disappointment, and if they haven't been supported by family as well, then they tend to shy away from trying new things. Other people would say, give room for disappointment. They try to do that. And then they don't try to reach for their actual capacity and according to their capabilities. I think people should try and see a psychologist or a social worker if they see the severity of their negative thoughts. Because then at times people can develop cognitive distortions. Yeah. And these can be the things that hold them back, when it comes to trying other things in life. But, with regards to a person that has been supported, or a person that has tried other things in life after matric, they do have resilience. They just need to notice that, because disappointment teaches you resilience. And with things of checking back what we've done, which we do in a session where we do cognitive reconstruct, reconstruction.
Yeah.
It also helps the person to think critically. You know, they also learn to be motivated because they can look back and say, but I've had a challenge in life before and I've overcome it before. So clearly I could overcome the next one.
Let's crystallize that point. I mean, are there specific cognitive approaches or even therapeutic techniques that can assist someone in also reframing their perspective on matric exam failure?
Yes, definitely. It depends on the type of therapeutic modality that one is working with. Other people work from different modalities. But I will just focus on the cognitive behavioral therapy, where we do cognitive reconstruction. And in this instance, that's when we have to identify the negative thought, right? And then we find the evidence supporting the negative thought and the evidence that is against the negative thought. Then the third step, it would be to then find an alternative way of thinking, so to put it.
As we wrap up our conversation, can you discuss the long-term effects of the disappointment that also accompanies poor results on one's self-esteem and also their mental well-being? And how can individuals actually work towards healing?
I think it's very important that individuals are supported. You know, as I said, with a child, while they're still learning to walk, they are applauded and they try again. You know, if they are supported, and it doesn't necessarily have to be just family. There could be somebody, just one person believing in that individual, and they will have the courage to try again. I mean, with the point of support, it doesn't mean that the person won't experience negative emotions. They will. I mean, everybody does not respond the same way to disappointment, but they necessarily have unwanted feelings. And it's very important to process those feelings and also limit social withdrawal, you know, openly discuss their thoughts and their emotions with their trusted individual. And also plan, what can I do next? Because sometimes people think it's a doom and gloom when you fail matric, but there's really other routes, you know, that a person can take. With regards to college, people that have grade 9 to 11 can actually apply and obtain an NCV qualification, which in turn can also be used at the university level. You know, so just finding out information, because if you're alone, then you are absorbed within that emotional state that you're in, and then that results with a negative behavior. But then, as I said, it's important that people do talk. If they find it very hard to find somebody in their lives to talk to, then they can come to professionals to do that. But the other side, the positive side about experiencing challenges or failure, is that you could see your level of strength. You know, you can get the courage and do it again, and you get to be resilient. You get to have, for people that don't know what resilience is, like the bouncing back effect.
Yeah.
You know, we challenges are experienced with everybody. I mean, even people like Steve Jobs, they failed a number of times before achieving what they really wanted. And I think the golden rule here is try again.
Try again. But there are people who may be watching this program and thinking, but where do I get help? Where do I go? Is there a number that I can call to seek some kind of help? From a psychological standpoint, what advice would you have to someone who's really struggling to overcome the emotional burden of matric failure or even just general failure as well when it comes to things that they are set out to do? And how can they find a sense of purpose in later years as well?
Okay, so with regards to finding help, we do have organizations within South Africa that offer free counseling and psychological services. I don't necessarily have their number directly with me now, but people can Google Lifeline or SADC, that's the South African Depression and Anxiety Group, and they can get their contact online. They could also go to government institutions that have psychiatric and psychological services. We do have them across the country, depending where you are within South Africa. And those that do have the means can also go to private psychologists as well. There's quite a lot also in South Africa. And with regards to trying again, sure. You know, it's very difficult, right, when you are in that state. It is a state of sadness, and depending how long you have had this state of sadness or repeated social withdrawal, or even anhedonia, where you don't get pleasure in doing your things anymore, then that shows the severity of the condition, and it can get to a point where it's a disorder. One can get depression from it as well. So just to act quickly, if you could act quickly to avoid severity. But also it doesn't mean that if one has been in that state for a long time, they can't be treated. It's just that the longer the condition has been there, then the longer the treatment. But definitely one can get out of that situation.
Sonto, thank you so much for sharing your insights. That's a psychologist, Sonto Masilela.